Tyler Green Martin, proud producer and proprietor, patriotic projectile party poppers. Got some uppity brown people making trouble for your empire? Replace them with a charred freighter and a cloud of white smoke. So remember, if your next geostrategic boondoggle
Did you just Israel my juice? Did you just Israel my chair?
God gave it to me.
What?
God said I could have it.
God said he could have it. That's my juice. I give that back. That's my juice.
God said it was mine.
Give me my chair. Give me my juice.
America!
Hey!
We wouldn't be able to take that kind of a risk. So the next day to meet me.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
I have the right to defend myself and my juice.
Did you just Israel my phone?
God gave it to me.
It's my phone.
God gave it to
The
me.
2022 ANC calendar is now available for pre-order. Get yours today to observe the festive.
She's got a knife! Obey! Help! Terrorist! Anti-Semite!
The 2022 ANC calendar is now available for pre-order. Get yours today to observe the festive.
Bam. Okay, first off, White Pill November. Got my Rumble back. I'll add a button on the site today. Secondly, Kyle Rittenhouse, as I've been saying since before the trial started, is going to be acquitted. There's no way they can do anything but let him walk. The dude is so based. I had some ivermectin news. Japan is switching over. They're tired of Big Pharma. So let's pull up some of these stories. Let's start with Kyle. Let's do this short one because it's pretty goddamn epic. Gotta rewind this video though. All right. This is where the little Antifa figure with his stupid plug earrings in court perjured himself 3 times, admitted he lied to the police, and illegally had a gun without concealed carry. He said it was invalid. It was invalid because you're a fucking felon and you're on probation and not supposed to have, not only not concealed carry, you're not supposed to have a gun at all. And yet he admitted he had it all summer. Anyway, let's look at this piece of shit. Kyle should have got a hat trick. Okay, here we go. By the way, the big arena is open under the old name of ANC.
With your arms up in the air, he never fired, right?
Correct.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.
You had up in the air,
Got to do that with commentary.
right?
Correct.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him,
Look at him.
advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.
Boom! Over. He could have shot you while you had your hands up. He didn't until you pointed a gun at him. His lawyers know it too. They facepalm. What a relief. Kyle's just like, oh, he knows it. He knows it right there. He's won. All 3 counts for self-defense. Just like that. Got him. Got him. That's what happens when everything's on fucking film. Look at his lawyer. Look at his lawyer. Hold on. Look at this.
You had
Look at that. Look at the face palm. I think we have some still pictures of that too. Look at this. That is the face of defeat. Like, you moron. But you know what? He's not, I mean, whether he's a moron, he is a moron. But even if he wasn't, he still has to admit it because it's on fucking film. Him running up there as Kyle's on his butt, getting hit with a skateboard. He is pat-ow, turns around, sees the other guy with the gun. Pat-ow to you too, bitch. Oh, so glorious. Let's see what they're chatting about in here. Yeah. Look at this turd. He thought he was going to die. Yeah, right. Look at the Daily Beast and all these people standing up for Antifa. Fucking typical. I would like to rewind a little and show you what some of these bastards were saying. Look at this. There he is posing with Jacob Marshall, right? In the hospital, like, yeah, I got injured, but he still got his stupid earplugs. And this Ginger, of course, another one. Been stuckless, yes. After you get shot, you can't drop your gun because your muscles are tensed up. This clearly shows his gun was pulled out after the point I originally posted, and he was shot after his hands were up. Thanks. Just prove. He had his gun out already, and there's fucking photos of it. So the kid shot Gage as he drew his weapon. Nope, that's not what happened. Gage had his weapon out when he was running at him, and then he got shot. But this guy can, say, I just talked to Gage Grosskursk. To his only regret was not killing the kid and hesitating to pull the gun out before emptying the entire mag in him. Coward. Wow. What a fucking idiot. These people post this shit on Facebook and Twitter. Morons. Should have killed him right then and there. His cell phone, that's his cell phone. He was on live record. That is not his cell phone. That is a gun. And he admitted that in court too, and it's on fucking film. It's not his phone. Look at these lying bastards. And he told the police, I didn't have a gun. I did, but I dropped it. You didn't drop your gun. You pulled it out of your waistband, which is in your back, and you pointed it at Kyle's head. We have some Shekelchats coming in. Michael Rosen, tread on him. Tread on him, snake, rainbow frog. We need a rainbow snake here soon. 6WL, do the call-in thing on entropy work? No, that shit never worked because the nerds fucking tried to extort me, and I told them to eat a dick. Rolf Pedersen says, best to you and yours. Thanks for your work. Now, we'll come back to Rittenhouse, and I have the whole Telegram live stream I did yesterday that I'm going to play. But you got to see this from Japan. This is fucking epic. It's going to do... Alright, we're going to mute it while it does this stupid-ass commercial. Doodle me. Yeah, I would have gotten that, but I got kicked off YouTube, so I have no use for it anymore. These fags fucking ban everything. Alright, check this out. I'll be quiet for it.
America's vaccine madness. First, there were 2 shots. Then, there was a booster shot. Then, there was another regular shot. And now, the government is in the mood to approve shots every 6 months, coupled with frequent lockdowns. Sucks. 11,000 kilometers away, in Japan, the land of the rising sun, a new revolution is taking shape. And that revolution is clearly aimed at crushing this panic mongering, this forced servility, this paranoia. And Japan has quite a simple solution to a seemingly mammoth problem. Crush.
By the way, we translated that Joe Rogan interview. I don't know if that had impact. I sent it to everybody. And lo and behold, they're going to ivermectin now.
The source of panic and see how everything goes back to normal. And welcome. This is TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host, Atul Mishra. In this video, I will tell you how Japan is using a tried and tested product to reduce its total dependence on vaccines for tackling COVID-19. Let's begin. Japan has said a loud and clear no to big pharma companies' vaccination campaigns with a small yet remarkable move. Japan is going to dump repeated vaccination doses for a better and more durable cure, ivermectin. It is an orally administered antiparasitic drug which has emerged as a viable treatment option for COVID-19 infections. Ivermectin was discarded unceremoniously till now, but Japan has demonstrated that the drug can be used as a more effective cure and a permanent substitute for the coronavirus vaccines produced by big pharmaceutical companies. Ivermectin had shown good results and seemed to be on track for tackling the pandemic. Big pharmaceutical companies, observing the success rate of the drug, decided to impose a ban on it, as it would have directly impacted their vaccination domination campaign. However, information security expert Eden Biber had recently alleged, if you're wondering why ivermectin was suppressed, it is because the agreement that countries had with Pfizer that does not allow them to escape their contract, which states that even if a drug will be found to treat COVID-19, the contract cannot be voided. A lot was at stake for Big Pharma amidst the ongoing pandemic as a permanent cure for COVID-19. Vaccines could have ended the need for multiple booster vaccine shots. Japan is traditionally one of the more hesitant countries when it comes to trusting vaccine companies. Tokyo even waited for 2 months before offering Pfizer and BioNTech to the public. Presently, Japan is more inclined towards acknowledging vaccine injuries and moving towards other treatment options as compared to other developed nations. The East Asian nation recommends the lowest number of vaccine shots to infants under 1 year of age. Incidentally, Japan also has the third lowest infant mortality rate amongst all developed nations. Moreover, a study of 34 developed nations reveals a definite pattern. Lower infant mortality rates regressed against the number of vaccine doses given routinely in the nation. Japan's medical infrastructure therefore works on a system that allows it to prevent excessive vaccination. Make no mistake, vaccines were a great idea when it came to mitigating the early impact of the COVID-19. However, it is not supposed to be a permanent solution because there has to be a permanent and effective cure for every disease which threatens people all across the world. On August 20, 2020, Japan recorded 832 new infections. At that time, of course, coronavirus vaccination campaigns had not been introduced. In August this year, most of the people in Japan were inoculated. But still, the country recorded 22,301 new infections on August 22nd, 2021. The number of recorded COVID deaths in Japan in August 2021 were on average 5 times higher than those in August last year. Japan was struggling to tackle the pandemic even before it rolled out a vaccination campaign. In early January, it had recorded a total of more than 9,000 new infections. And also over 100 deaths were recorded on February 4th, after which Japan faced pressure from other governments to roll out a vaccination campaign. With vaccination, the coronavirus outbreak in Japan did get contained for some time, but by May 12th, the infections started peaking again and over 7,000 new infections were recorded. The pandemic in Japan was going out of control, yet the Japanese government was smart enough to look beyond the vaccines in its COVID-19 containment efforts. In September, Japan deployed ivermectin, and legalizing the use of the antiparasitic drug has helped people recover from COVID-19 with more durable and long-lasting immunity. Caseloads have come down rapidly without the need for booster vaccination doses. In Tokyo, there were around 6,000 cases in the middle of August, but the number has now dropped to below 100. Japan is overcoming the coronavirus, with the number of COVID tests dropping for 25% in the fag end of August to just 1% mid-October. Ivermectin use is thus helping Japan permanently beat the COVID-19 pandemic. If and when vaccine efficacy wanes, Japan will have a choice: using an antiparasitic medicine as a permanent cure to ensure speedy recovery of infected patients with durable immunity. Japan has thus crushed the big pharma with a small move, deploying the use of ivermectin.
Don't care about StreamYard. So sick of that fucking commercial. The guy sounds like Krusty the Clown. The good thing about StreamYard, alright, kids. Ugh, I hate these fucking commercials. Anyway, that is another white pill. Rittenhouse will be acquitted. Japan is going to ivermectin, going against Big Pharma. And that's all it takes. It's a Japanese drug. And Pfizer and the cabal can't profit from it. The patent ran out, so it's only like $3 or something. So they want to give you boosters indefinitely, but you can take an antiparasitic and be better off, and it will help cure some of the long-term effects. If you've already had COVID, you've got a shot at least. Apparently this is not playing on Rumble yet. My dork is not awake, so that is something we'll try to rectify today. I will manually upload it to Bitchute and Rumble when this stream is done. Now, I'm going to need to know whether this audio plays in a second. Because, and I need to get you something cool to look at too, I think. Let's go with, I don't know. Let's go with the calendar picture. That works. All right. Stretch that out. Is there no way to make that bigger? Whatever. Okay. I'm gonna need to know if this audio works. We got a long thing to show you. And where the hell is it? This. Sure. All right. Let's move her down. Or shrink it? I don't know. It's one of our, jeez. One of our calendar gals. Okay, let's see if this plays. Play, you bastard. Alright.
Fucking epic. When he ends it with my friend, Dr. Ron Paul, and he also talks about, he doesn't even say Fauci, he just says, because of a lying doctor. And he brought up the Milgram's experiment of where normal people would torture their neighbors if somebody in a lab coat told them to. I wonder if they redid that experiment in Australia, if it'd be closer to 100%. That place has lost its fucking mind.
My understanding is that that experiment.
He did was not, you're not allowed to fucking torture people for just to see if someone will, you know. The ones where they're
Was there audio? It is. Okay, let's get it playing then. I'll start it over.
fucking epic. When he ends it with my friend, Dr. Ron Paul, and he also talks about, he doesn't even say Fauci, he just says, because of a lying doctor. And he brought up the Milgram's experiment of where normal people would torture their neighbors if somebody in a lab coat told them to. I wonder if they redid that experiment in Australia, if it'd be closer to 100%. That place has lost its fucking mind.
My understanding is that that experiment was bogus and nobody's ever been able to recreate the results.
No, it's not recreatable because it's completely unethical. Like, what he did was not, you're not allowed to fucking torture people for just to see if someone will, you know. The ones where they're acting like they're getting shocked is different. This wasn't, man. They were shocking people, and that's just fucked. So, but anyway, I just like, even if it's, I don't think it's urban myth. I mean, I had it in psychology class and stuff, but I think that's very believable. Because they've done other experiments, like you flip this switch, someone will die. And there's still like 20% that'll go, well, he told me to, click. And just fucking, they're not actually killing anybody, but they think they are. It's amazing. Somebody in a fancy hat told me to do it. So I hope everyone's been following the Rittenhouse trial. It is just like, the prosecution has nothing. Oh, some people died. Like, yeah, they've been setting the town on fire for 3 days. Looting, burning, assaulting, breaking car windows. And you had not just Rittenhouse, but a bunch of guys came out to defend businesses. And the media didn't talk to them.
Want to get some Shekelchats in first. First of all, voluntarist for 3 says, but Ryan, he crossed state lines, ergo that somehow means he's guilty. It is not illegal to cross state lines, and he did not cross state lines with the gun. He got the gun in Wisconsin, and it's not illegal. X gonna give it to you for 10 Australian, the People's Republic of Aussieland. Hey, Ryan, a bit off topic, but I got into a debate with a bunch of Muslims who think that Islamic theocracy is a superior form of government to secular liberalism. What are some good arguments against theocracy, but specifically Islamic theocracy? Where did this argument take place? In Australia? I mean, actually, in Australia, your democracy isn't better than Islamic theocracy. It might as well be Sharia law, because you're only allowed outside for 30 minutes a day or whatever. But, I mean, someone that is a true believer doesn't care about all the fucking weird and stupid rules in any religion that result in a loss of civil liberty. But it is not as if a secular government is safe from that, because they invent their own religions like climate change alarmism and the Branch Covidians. So secular in scare quotes, because people are dumb. And you get rid of one religion, they'll replace it with another one, and sometimes it's worse than the first one. You know, how about if you're not Muslim? Why would you want to live in Islamic theocracy? And if you want to, and you are, you can. You can go move to Iran or Pakistan or something where it's pretty, or Bahrain where it's pretty there, or you can live under the Saudi monarchs. Funny though, because there's more than one type of Islam, and so the Shia and Sunni are not going to get along. Which theocratic branch would you say is superior to the other one? And then you can have the enemies of the other one, be a bitch of the Zionists and so on. It's stupid. It's an easy argument to make. You should be able to do it yourself. Ernie Truth says, prediction when Kyle is acquitted, I say we see a George Floyd style chimp out for weeks. I don't think so. They're going to chimp out and they're going to get put out. Chottomate. I have a visitor trying to get to me. Vigo2011 says, I'm a nurse. I took ivermectin, still kicking. Yep, and you probably had to deal with COVID patients, the worst shape ones too, all the time. Michael Rosen says, ivermectin Israel with 1370. Yes, we need to like crop dust Israel with ivermectin and get rid of all those parasites. In California too, and Scotland, and I don't know what to do with Australia. Agent Orange. Voluntarist for 3 says, I used to be able to use Google Pay for Shekelchats, but about a month ago it stopped being available. That is a problem with your Google Pay, not everyone's. Something's going on with you. Willie Wallace for 25 says, crystal clear on the sound, free Kyle. Michael Rosen, where can I find the video of Japan to start using ivermectin? Thank God for Japan. It is in my Telegram. That is where I streamed it from. So go to the ANC Report Telegram. It's like 3 or 4 stories up and you can grab it. It's also on PeerTube. Wally for 3, Communist Australian. Yeah, you're right. I made all those arguments you just mentioned, but for some reason they just wouldn't listen. Brick for brains. Look, there's no point in arguing with religious people about stuff like the fact that they believe, like, Islam has a gold calf that's body parts brought people back to life. Okay, if you touch, they ripped open this cow, and if you touch the golden cow, even on a dead person, the dead person would come alive again. When you're dealing with people that believe in magical, mystical bullshit like that, you cannot reason somebody out of something they were not reasoned into. They're just going to go, oh, nope, Allah is God, the only one, Muhammad is prophet, la 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 la, la 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 la. They're not going to listen. And you guys, do you really think you should have animal sacrifices or stone people to death or a monarchy or this or this or this or that? They don't care. Yeah, they do. I'm like, okay, well then, if you really think that, why don't you live there? Because that's not what you really think. You got the option. So like an atheist doesn't really have an option. There's no atheist nation or whatever. But there are Islamic countries, and you can live under a monarchy. And you can do all that. You can dress your woman up like a beekeeper or a Pac-Man ghost if you want to. And you can, pray 5 times a day and face Mecca and, give your money to the business that says it's a message from God. You can do all that stuff if that's how you like to live. But you have to recognize that billions of people disagree and either don't have a religion or have a different one or have a different version of the same one. And it's a winner-take-all system, and they don't want to live like that. Under a secular government, you at least have the option of religious freedom where you can be a Muslim, you could be a Christian, you could be a Jew, you could be a grown-up, you could do any of those things. You have the option because the state's not in charge. Increasing the power of government with anything is a bad idea. And it doesn't matter if it's a classic theological religion with, supernatural explanations or the more new age panic, trenched in fear religions like communism and the Branch Covidians and, your climate change alarmists and all your liberal transgender stuff. That is a cult. I would argue that's worse than a religion because it doesn't have any redeeming qualities, whereas religions do most of the time. A religion is whatever religion does, right? It's not that Islam is bad or Christianity is bad or whatever. It's Muslims are bad, Christians are bad. Any good person can twist a religion into a good thing, like Ron Paul Christians or Muhammad Ali Muslims or something. But you can also get your Pat Robertson Christians or your Norway Shooter Christians or, you know, your Al Qaeda ISIS Muslims. That's also a possibility. You can get Zionist Jews, or you can get a version that is not full of racial supremacy. It's rare, but it's possible. Most Jews that abandon the religion, rather than reinterpreting it into something sane, just become an atheist. And the reason is they're always, except for in Israel, the minority religion anyway. So they already have all this cultural pressure from the outside that saying their thing is wrong. And rather than changing to become Christian or something, they choose atheism because most everyone only believes in one religion. They discount all the gods but their own, right? Oh, they can apply logic to somebody else's religion and say, oh, that's silly. That's impossible, but not mine. That's the real one or whatever. So once they lose that, they're an atheist. They're not going to like switch from this faith to that. The only people who do that do it because they're getting married to somebody who's of the faith and they need to because their partner won't do it without that. Anyway, back to the this podcast. Oh, fucking A. I think it. I'm just gonna skip ahead. I don't know how to do this shit.
The businesses that he was gonna kill them if he caught them alone, and
Yep.
that turned
And
out
we've
to
seen
be
you
wrong.
before, and they were all throwing rocks and chunks of concrete at Kyle and others. It's saying cranium that kid. It's on fucking film. This is what the left doesn't understand. Like, this isn't Twitter. You can't just say erase that. This is a courtroom. And they're going to see a mob throwing stones and rocks and shooting guns. And then this Jewish child rapist, we should call him Joseph Rosengan, is running after him, and Kyle was running away. He could have just blown his head off if he wanted to. And it's not till he's like inches from getting his gun that he just brings it up a few degrees and shoots him in the nads. Precision aim. Because it had to be the size of a peanut. It is poetic justice. A child rapist is chasing a child and gets his dick blown off. That's how he bleeds out on the ground with the stupid red shirt on his head. Like, why are they putting a shirt? Like, his head's fucking doesn't matter. It's like, he should have, you know what he should have done? He should have pulled it out and got right in his face and said, shoot me, nigger. Shoot me, nigger. Let that be your last words. That's what you said the day before. Well, you've been shot. You got an axe wound, and you're going to die.
You were quoting the defense attorney in his opening statement.
Who was quoting Rosenbaum himself? Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying, like, you can quote that back at him.
Well, the lawyer added the hard R, so it's a hard R.
Well, Rosenbaum didn't say shoot me nigga. He said shoot me nigger. And I don't think he's got a nigger pass. I think that guy was a lily white redheaded Jew. And if you're supposedly doing this over injustice towards blacks by the police, like if that's what you believe, I disagree. I think they're shitty to everybody. But if that's what you think, then why are you saying the N-word over and over again? If you're there for what was William Blake, the guy with the knife that was kidnapping a child and tried to stab a policeman who got shot. Jacob Blake, yeah. And lived, by the way. I mean, they could have shot him in the forehead. Anyway, just fucking trash. It just he happened to be black. So what? That had been white guy. This is a total non-story. No one would even know it happened. But it was a person who counts. And the only reason they count is not because they care about the plight of blacks. It's because they care about using the plight of blacks to spin a narrative for shitlibs to go and exercise their envy and destroy businesses and rob and get a sense of power by setting things on fire.
You want to hear some liberal spin from across the pond? The headline for the Rittenhouse trial is
Oh yeah.
two sets of laws. Racial tensions simmer in the town where police shot Jacob Blake.
Or kidnapping a child in the middle of the night. Forgot that part.
Yeah, but it seems that
It's not
Rittenhouse
like they just
getting
saw a black guy walking down the road, like,
rather.
there's one, get it, you know? I have a lot of foreigners that think that like blacks just can't even go outside in America. The cops just hunt them down. I'm like, what are you talking about? Lots of other people can't go outside because black people hunt them down. Yeah, I mean, I've been straight up told in New York many times, in Manhattan even, don't go out after like 7:30. You're the wrong color. Yeah. And it ain't from the police.
Yeah, but the point I want to make is that it seems like the law is being rather rough on Mr. Rittenhouse, and so the
It
two
is because
sets
he's
of
the wrong color.
laws would. Yeah, the two sets of laws, they've actually inverted it because they're saying that black people get treated worsely, but in fact, it is black people that get towns set ablaze when they get shot trying to stab a police officer. So they have more backing from the system than Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse killed 2 Jews. And so that's the privileged class. That's why he's on trial. They don't mention their pedophiles and they don't mention their criminal records. That's all irrelevant, although it shouldn't be. Because what you had is a mob of thugs and criminals with records and rap sheets that was organized by somebody, ding, Soros, to go loot and burn the town down under some flimsy pretext of we don't like this incident with a cop with this guy who they didn't know. There are people from out of state, don't even live in Wisconsin, out there, bust in because it's bought and paid for by the DNC to riot. And just like with George Floyd, they're threatening the jurors. If you don't get him guilty, we're going to chimp out again. But he's not guilty. He's going to get acquitted, and I hope they chimp out, and I hope they get shot. Like, the militias are there. Dude, if someone is setting your shit on fire, you have a right to shoot them in the face. Like, that kind of fucking animal behavior has to end. If you're going to act like a wild ape or something, then you should be blown away. Fuck
And
Antifa.
I feel
it's
I
a
should
terrorist
specify.
organization.
Yeah, Rittenhouse was not a member of a militia, and there is no evidence of
Right.
that ever. It was just
No,
part of a protection
went
crew
there.
that was made ad hoc that day.
Right. They were protecting a business by standing next to it with guns and protecting the gas station. And then he came down off the roof to see if any of the protesters would need medical help because there are a whole bunch of monkeys throwing rocks just randomly and hitting other. And there had to be some protesters that just protesting the cops or whatever. But it doesn't matter because Antifa subverts that no matter what it is, BLM or whatever, it doesn't matter how legitimate it is. Antifa comes in there and turns it into a violent, random acts of violence on businesses or whatever who didn't do it and are not being protected by police either. They're being protected by citizens. They burn down entire streets. That is terrorism. And Trump should have labeled it terrorism. But no. Antifa's an idea, just an idea, man, according to Biden. And parents that don't want their children being raped in school bathrooms are domestic terrorists. This is why this guy is going to lose harder if he even makes it the full 4 years. He ain't going to get 30% of the vote. Nobody's going to vote for that asshole. They see what they're getting, supply chain shortages, people getting fired for their jobs because they won't let them forcibly vaccinate them. Now, the Fifth Circuit Court froze that January 4th mandate. Said you can't do it.
Yeah.
It's unconstitutional.
Yeah, but my theory on this is that because I when they said OSHA was going to issue a rule, I was eagerly anticipating the rule, but then they just waited to try to cajole the businesses to do it themselves voluntarily, and
Yep.
that has
To say,
been
well,
the
it's OSHA's rule.
impetus for a lot of the forced vaccinations for a lot of employers, such as American Airlines and other companies. So they're just trying
Well,
to
let me add something.
legislate by threat.
Well, it's more than a threat because I've heard people say, well, if the government does it, it gives the businesses an excuse to do what they want to do anyway. And go, oh, well, I'm being made to do it. Don't blame us. But some of them are being made to do it because a lot of large businesses have government contracts. And you will lose that government contract if you don't obey, especially airlines and a lot of medical things. They got to have it. Even universities, research grants and stuff, they can withhold that money. So it's like, oh, you don't have to do it, but
You're
you have to do
listening
it.
to a
We'll quit
Telegram
paying you.
podcast. Sign up to our Telegram. We do these every
Because they
day.
know they don't want to fire 32% of their staff or whatever. They don't want to lose their workforce when it's already in shortage. But they will because that government contract is a substantial part of their revenue. And they'll lose that if they don't comply. So it really does take a court to say, you cannot do this mandate. If you're going to do a mandate, it should go through legislation, which they can't do because Republicans would block it. You cannot use an executive order. Executive orders decide how to enforce laws that were passed by the legislator. No law was passed by the legislator. He just made it up like a king and said, I'm going to executive order this. That's not what executive orders are for. Everyone ought to know that, but the media rarely mentions that. And we don't have any we're civically ignorant. I don't think they teach civics in public school at all. The three branches of government and the division of powers is something you're supposed to learn in around 5th grade. And then in more detail, maybe in 9th grade. But it's this nothing. All they fucking talk about is race. All day, every day. Race, 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 race.
Yeah, and
Which is sick.
they especially never teach them how to influence government. That is something
Oh,
nobody
fuck
like
no.
they don't want to teach
No,
that.
worse, they show you the worst possible way. Run around the street with signs, which is just a fucking waste of time. Right? They don't lobby, they don't create interest groups, they don't call, they don't write letters, they don't visit in person. Like you have a representative. You can go through your state level and use them to go to the federal level, and you have a local government. Either you have a mayor or you have a city council or both. Now, most people don't even know where their local government even is. Some people don't even know what fucking county they live in. I mean, that's just sad. It works when you go there. I did it in North Carolina all the time and eventually got what I wanted.
Well, some people that don't know the county they live in, they actually reside within the state of confusion. So
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Wisconsin and Virginia are both commonwealths, so it's slightly different than a state, although it's still part of the United States, what it's called in a name. Because state can just mean any kind of government, actually. But it's Kenosha. The judge is, there's no way they're going to find him guilty. And people are talking shit about rioting, but I don't think so. I mean, because once you've got an okay that it's okay to shoot these fuckers for doing violence or coming at you, then if they try this again, they're going to get shot. Cops aren't going to do it, but regular people will.
Yeah, well, in my mind, the moment the judge allowed Rosenbaum, Huber, and Grosskreutz, or whatever it's called, Kreuzberg or something, to be labeled
Lefty,
as rioters and looters,
which
the
is what they
trial
were.
is over. Yeah, because
Yeah,
any like if you make a jury pool, that means you have a stable job, you pay your taxes, you don't break the law, and
right. You're not
everyone
dumpster diving.
hates rioters and looters.
Yep. Well, they were part of the red bloc because the way Antifa is organized, they have the top two blocks are the black bloc and the red bloc. The black bloc is the majority of them. People dressed in black with hoodies who are willing to protest and agitate and all that, but not willing to do an act of violence that would get them put in jail. The people in the red bloc who are still dressed in black and look just like the black bloc are the vanguard who are willing to break the law, assault, shoot, burn, loot, all that. And they'll send the red bloc out to vandalize is usually the first thing they do, start breaking windows, painting things and stuff. Throwing fireworks and firebombs, because fireworks are incendiary devices. And then they run back and mix in with the black bloc to try to hide with, oh, I didn't do nothing. It didn't do black bloc. If they get caught, is where the blueberry bloc comes in and bails them out. They either have a deal with the DA or they'll just pay their bail and get them out within 24 hours. So they save all those red bloc members. And a lot of the red bloc members are already prior felons, which all three of these guys that attacked Rittenhouse were. 2 rapists, one that beat women, breaking and entering and choking his girlfriend or something. It was the last one. Yeah, he could have to do that with one hand now. Who's on probation and illegally had a gun with a bullet in the chamber.
So you would call them classic Antifa standard?
Well, they're all Antifa. It's just they have we've infiltrated these groups, and they have they're allowed to talk online like we're not. They can do this shit on Twitter and stuff. No one cares, and they'll want to know who's willing to be part of a black bloc, who's willing to be part of the red bloc. And there's some subcategories of the black bloc, but it doesn't matter. And they have medics and stuff to get rid of pepper spray, whatever, in the back row to come up and assist people who get it in the front. But the red bloc is the really dangerous one. And anybody that's going to oppose them, they're going to send some reds after him, which is what happened to Kyle. He got singled out. They start throwing rocks and stuff. They'll shoot you if they have to. And they're trying, he's a kind of a chubby 17-year-old kid, and they thought, just take his gun away. And then we could beat his ass. But they couldn't get his gun away as he blew him away. Clear defense. But what they ought to be taken into account is that Antifa shows up to an area as an organization with designated members who are willing to do violence, and that is their fucking role. Beyond the vandalism and whatnot. They're willing to attack people. And that's what a red bloc member is. And I think all these asshole social media accounts and stuff should be gone through and seen all the messages and stuff of them boasting about all the cars they were burning at the car lots in Wisconsin and whatnot. Well, I was talking to, I think it was Mike Jackman. Their father, who's now deceased, unfortunately, owns a car lot. 5 children, 1 set of twins. That's how he put food on the table. If somebody had just set all the cars on fire, that's it, man. Even a car, the insurance, you're never getting insurance again. You'll never be able to open that business again. And how the fuck does breaking the windows and setting cars on fire at a car lot have anything to do with Jacob Blake? Nothing. It's just random violence. There's no fucking connection. But this trial is limited of they were chasing him, hitting him with a skateboard, grabbing his gun, approaching him with a loaded gun, which he bragged to his friend he was going to kill him. He was 8 seconds from shooting him. But they need to go after all of Antifa for organizing an event that has a vanguard of known criminals who have stated beforehand they are willing to do violence and be part of the red bloc. And Andy No has, You should get a RICO Act. Exactly. Oh, God, they could prosecute these motherfuckers so easy. Because if Andy know, or myself or others, we have like moles in there. No, I know they have moles in here too, but we don't do anything illegal. That's the difference. If we know, then it would be very easy for the FBI or someone too. The problem is the FBI is woke and gay and on their side. But that is what's going on. This is a terrorist organization. It isn't like ISIS, but it is terrorism. Like if the Proud Boys or whoever, or skinheads or something, said, all right, these fucking people are willing to hit someone with a baseball bat or whatever, and these other people are just going to yell and throw the signs, and we're all going to dress alike, and you can come run and blend in with us, which is an accomplice to a crime, by the way, premeditated, that you are going to assist somebody in hiding after they commit an act of violence. It means they're all guilty. Everyone that's in that message board or goes through those emails, whatever. And these fuckers openly do it on Twitter and Facebook, and nothing happens. If you make a joke in 2011, you'll get a 30-day suspension or whatever. Or worse, like me, just get banned off of everything. Rittenhouse should be acquitted, and I hope he becomes a fucking millionaire off of merchandise and stuff. Hat trick, 2.5. Communists gone.
Should become.
Well, everybody's worried because they're like, well, we all know he's innocent, clear case of self-defense, but they have zero fucking faith in the justice system. And why should they? Right? But I don't have faith in the justice system in general, but I have faith in this particular judge because of what you were saying earlier.
Yeah,
you can't call them victims.
There's still some funny business going on because the FBI supplied or gave aerial footage to the trial from their drone, but they had edited the video, so they're showing selected parts.
Right? Why would you do that? And the FBI is woke and gay. It's the FBI is worried because have you seen the Patriot Purge? Holy shit, it's about January 6th. It's on tuckercarlson.com right now. Sign up for 90 days and watch the whole thing for free. It is something else, man. It was totally COINTELPRO saying, come on, break the window, let's go. And people go, no, boo, you're a Fed. And they just went and did it anyway. Very few people were like stupid enough to follow the goons in there. One of them was Ashley Babbitt, and she died. And she was surrounded by spooks. They set her up to be shot, trying to escalate. And still, no one did anything because no one brought weapons because it was not an insurrection and wasn't planned. They're just there protesting what they sincerely believe was voter fraud. And I'd agree with them. I think there was voter fraud. I don't agree with the machines flipping votes and all that. I think it was way more simple. They just mailed in. They had pre-arranged ballots that they were going to claim came in the mail because they know there's no way to trace it. You don't have to do anything complicated. And that's been witnessed with no serial numbers on the ballots and unfolded, so they couldn't have come in the mail. That's pretty well known now. This is illegitimate president.
Did you see that Senate president in New Jersey who claimed he had found 12,000 ballots?
Really? He's still trying to be...
the one that lost to the trucker.
Uh-huh. Oh, look, they came in the mail. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. 12,000 ballots. Uh-huh.
Well, to quote George Bush, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
Well, you ain't going to fool me again. It's a saying in Texas. Well, I'm sure there is, but you're from Connecticut, so you don't know the saying in Texas.
You were 18.
Yeah. He's a Yankee. All the Bushes are Yankees. they try to count that as a Texan, and I'm like, no, come on. Last
Yeah, but
Texan
that
in the White House
accent.
was LBJ, I think.
Yeah, but that accent was great for him winning the election. So it's good that he switched when he was 18.
Do you see? Yeah, Did you see McCloof arguing about
No.
Youngkin? First, they labeled him a. They labeled the voters of Youngkin white supremacists, and of course the lieutenant governor is black, and she has challenged Joy Reid to a debate about that. And of course, Joy Reid's not doing it. Democrats never want to debate. The only way you can maintain ideas that stupid is to not let the other side speak. So they're very good with censorship or bully tactics, trying to get people to censor themselves, like agree with me or you're a racist, agree with me or you're Hitler, agree with me or you're a Nazi. They do that kind of shit. But if you actually force them to discuss something like, well, if you have a penis, you're a man, and they're like, no, read. They don't have any logic whatsoever. And calling all the people of Virginia white supremacists, like the whitest, most affluent area of Virginia by far is Fairfax and Loudoun. And they all voted Biden. The working class, black, white, and brown, voted for Youngkin. And he got 54% of Latino votes. He did better with Latinos than he did white women. Because all of them are working class. They voted for the Republican because they want their kids to learn skills in school instead of critical race theory. And they don't want to put a mask on an 8-year-old. Even when they play sports, they have to wear a mask. Not now. And that's dangerous. And there's no logic to it. If you start arguing mask policy, like how come I can go to a restaurant as soon as I sit down, I can take it off? The only way to maintain ideas that stupid is not allow a discussion. So Joy Reid's not going to allow a discussion with Lieutenant Governor Sears because Sears would light her up, and she can't use the blacktivist card because it's another black woman. But she said white supremacy through a black mouth. That's what they were saying. Holy shit.
Joy Reid is the same woman that claimed her old blog post about how she hated homosexuals were made by time-traveling Russian hackers.
Seriously? Those evil white Russians.
So let me. I can find the source. I can be more detailed. Give me a sec.
Greg Gutfeld said, for somebody named Joy Reid, who has no joy and apparently doesn't read either. I'm looking forward to the Maxwell trial on the 29th. I just hope, and I'll say this to anybody listening, I'm not worried about our guys, but do not go to the courthouse and do any sort of fucking stunt that would create a mistrial. In other words, don't be Tommy Robbins. That lady is fucked. She has no way out other than some idiots, some QAnons being like, Epstein's still alive, and running up the steps of the courthouse or something. Short of that, she's fucked.
Oh yeah, so she claimed that she was hacked.
Joy Reid, yeah,
on
right.
a blog that ended a decade ago. So these people that hacked her really knew that gays were going to be sacred in a decade.
Right. She wrote it.
Well, yeah, she later apologized, but Democrats love to say things were hacked that were not. That's part of their shtick now.
Yeah, where are the rest of the arrests there, right? On Russiagate. Is Charles Dalton in chains? He should be.
Even Hillary should be in chains because it was her campaign that supplied Steele with the source making the
Yeah,
claims
actually
about
worse. Not
Trump
just
and
the
team.
source, the entire story, because it
Yeah,
never
yeah.
happened. So they made up the whole story.
Yeah, so they paid a guy to talk to their guy about a presidential candidate they opposed, and then they used that knowledge to sick the FBI on that presidential candidate, and the FBI gladly took part in it, renewing their search warrant with FISA several times after knowing that the report was complete bullshit and had no corroborating evidence.
And yet they ignored Hunter Biden's laptop for a year and a half, almost 2 years, knowing that that is Hunter, and there's so many incriminating things on there, including quid pro quo with Ukraine, with his father, which is something else
Yeah,
they accused Trump of, and they impeached him over it. His phone call to Ukraine, and the guy that the president selected comes in, who actually did do a phone call to Ukraine that actually was quid pro quo, and no one cares.
Yeah, and like the texts from that laptop are so detailed as to it states that Hunter Biden gives his father 10% or half of the income he earns off his influence. It's so textbook corruption.
10% for the big guy.
You launder it through your
Dude,
family.
how about the diary? Showering with his daughter. Fucking gross. These people are sick.
Yeah, I had a chance to ask a shitlib about this, and they just attacked the source and said it was published by an outlet hostile to the president, and that you shouldn't.
I had
think anything
screenshots
in it
of the
is true.
diary in May of 2020. I think it's
You
in Corn
want
Pop's Revenge. I don't know if we can't remember.
It's
It's mostly the white collar crime. Yeah, no, I don't think it is actually. I think it was, and I got rid of all the sexual stuff. I was like, you know what? We're just gonna hit them on the white collar crime and quid pro quo legal stuff. And I was thinking, we can do all the Hunter and his daughter and his babysitter and all the fucking degenerate shit with his brothers and all the sexual stuff later.
Yeah. Honestly, in a normal world, TMZ should be the one that covered the diary.
Yeah. And I did. It was, if you look on Bitchute, the video right after Corn Pop's Revenge is like Corn Pop's Revenge full, and the one after that is like an extra 15 minutes of just rattling off all the other sexual degenerate crimes they've done that were not in the film. And it's only on Bitchute because that was before PeerTube. I knew it was too hot for YouTube. That was before Odysee. I think I had a Rumble since January.
There is no end to America.
I had like
Oh,
19 weeks where I was banned. So
yeah,
pretty
Rumble
much,
is back, everyone. So go
Yeah.
to Rumble and subscribe. Do a Rumble or whatever they call it over there.
I think it's Anti-Neocons is the name of it. I'm not sure, but I'm going to stick a button on ANC Report. And actually, if you're subbed on Substack, you can just double click the most recent video, which will go to the Rumble page, and then add it that way.
Yeah.
They listened. I mailed them, and some other people mailed them, and then I was like, "Don't ban me for being conservative. I know you got a letter from Gay Pop. I know exactly what it said, and it's full of shit." So they brought me back.
Do you
We'll
want
see how long
to
that lasts.
Yeah. Do you want to invite a speaker? Oh, he just.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Okay. Anybody who wants to speak, keep your hand up.
I see somebody. It's just got a robot avatar. Let's see. Or is that the bot?
That is not the bot. The bot does not do this.
I hit allow to speak, but it still has the hand raised.
Well, he
Okay. He has
on
hit the
my
button.
end, he stopped,
Yeah.
stopped keeping his hand up.
Yeah. All right. Well, or she. Might be a she. I think I had gotten up to like 6% female audience, or almost 9% in January before I got banned. Which is like normal because I think only 10% of YouTube is girls anyway.
Well, yeah, girls mostly watch like makeup tutorials and things to buy.
I think they're more into Instagram and stuff. I don't know. I
Yeah,
think men are
that is
just
how
using
you.
computers more for
Yeah,
shit, for everything, gaming, all that stuff.
Instagram is how you keep tabs on your friends and see what they do and can compare yourself to their life and then
Or
feel
gossipy, yeah.
terrible. Yeah.
I don't know. Twitter might be a bit more even. Facebook's pretty
Oh,
even.
I saw you got a colonoscopy. That's awesome. Great.
Huh. Yeah. Calendar's looking good.
Yes.
I mean, it is something. These girls. Japan is the place to be for that kind of thing. It's hard to get the time off to do the pictures, but it's much more how I wanted it to be last year because I'm doing it myself. It's so based. The written part's a lot better too, and it's got pictures on the days of the week and stuff that I wanted, rainbow frogs and whatnot. Trying to think of, besides Sheldon Adelson and Colin Powell and Donald Rumsfeld, were there any big neocon deaths or Zionist deaths? I mean, Bibi lost an election, but it's like Bennett got in, so whatever. But any Bush Senior was the year before. Who else has kicked the bucket recently? I feel like there was another one I forgot. Now, I got Nygaard's arrest and all that on there. I got all the good arrests. We'll get Rittenhouse's acquittal. We'll get the results of Maxwell's trial.
We have a lesser known neocon, Donald Kagan.
Donald Kagan died?
August 11th. On August 6th, I mean. Yes, he died on August 6th this year.
And McCain's still dead. I'm thinking there was another Adelson level, like, donor class person that I know Redstone died last August. There's somebody. I'm still waiting on Kissinger and Soros. There's a whole bunch of them that have one foot in the grave. I want frog on like every day. Ding, 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 ding.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. In the last stream that you did, and you may have already said it during this because I joined midway through, you said that you had an update on the Blackfoot Reservation thing.
Oh,
that you were
yeah,
supposed to
that
be giving me
guy.
an update.
Yep. So, it's not much of an update though, but I had to call. I'm going to have this guy, Randy, who's an Indian, to come on the show. And they're trying to organize it, and it's my fault. Y'all just had daylight savings time apparently, which I didn't know because we don't do that in Japan. And so I was an hour late, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I didn't know the time had changed." So I had to reschedule and get him on again because I'm gonna let him explain everything, and we're gonna go over some other stories too. Because for us, it's the server farm, but really for them, because they're not selling access, that's shitty. It's everything. It's true state independence, really. And they need infrastructure, and I mean like not the Biden sense of the word, like the real sense of the word, sewage, electric grids and stuff. And they've got probably $400,000 pumped in doing all that already. And I'm like, hey, what you need is revenue streams. So instead of getting they're tax deductible donations, so whatever you donate to them is a write-off. That's pretty good. But only until December because Biden changed it. Trump allowed it. It's until December 21st. If you donate to them directly, you can count it as a tax write-off. That is the cutoff. That's why I'm trying to get Randy on as soon as possible. They asked for COVID relief supplies, and all they did was send them body bags. This woman cut up body bags and toe tags and made a traditional rain dress, and then wore it to the meeting where she just reamed them about sending the Native Americans body bags when they asked for COVID relief. It's not in like the 1890s. This is last year that happened. We got some stories to tell about that, and hopefully we can get a good fund drive. And on the side, I'm like, hey guys, if you did the server farm, I know myself and Red Ice and Adam Green and all the fucking Red Elephant, everybody's getting canceled, probably Fuentes, could really utilize something like an alternative to PayPal. And I think Blackfoot can become millionaire, even billionaires, if they made an alternative to PayPal. They've got a Swiss bank on the reservation, and they've got 2 Indian banks. Well, I think it would surpass their rev pretty fast, but that isn't what I'm pushing for. And basically got it, set in stone that will happen once they're done. But they have to build what they've already promised and make all their bigger investors happy. And then that's the proposal. So they know more about it than I do, which is why he's not a chief, but he's the person to talk to. And he's going to come on the show. It was supposed to be yesterday, and I didn't know about the daylight savings. I fucked it up. It probably next Thursday, I think, is set, because I had my son's birthday and other things this week too. And so the only day we both had was that day, and then I missed it because of the time zone. Japan is a vertical country, so they don't have daylight savings, and neither does Korea. They just always stay the same time zone. I've never really understood the good argument for that either. I've heard it, but it doesn't make sense. I'm like, it all evens out again, so just leave it. Twice a year they move the clock around.
Over the weekend, some people I was hanging out with said that the governor of Alabama is getting rid of it. So like the clocks just went back forward this past weekend, and apparently after this, Alabama is going to stay the same from now on. And Arizona has never.
Yeah, Arizona, and I thought Arkansas, maybe not. Arizona's never done it anyway. Good for them.
But there is, I don't remember the name, but there's an Indian reservation in Arizona that does.
It's part of the Navajo, probably. The Dine is the official name.
Maybe it's either
the
that
Navajo Hopi Zuni is weird because the Hopi res is inside the Navajo res, and the Zuni res is too. What? It's the largest reservation. Some of it's in Arizona.
I think the Navajo does.
See, I would think they would, because their reservation is in Arizona and it's also in New Mexico, and you can't have half of the place do it and half of it not. So the portion that's in Arizona just going to follow. That would be my guess.
Okay, that makes sense. I watched a video talking about like how weird it was a few years ago about how some places in the U.S. do and don't. And I think the Hopi, which is inside, doesn't. Like the Navajo does, but the Hopi inside it doesn't. I think so.
Believe in circular time. If you ever seen a Hopi clown? They're scary as hell. This is like black and white stripes. They're people, but they dress up like these. We call them clowns, but they're sort of like a monster, mythical kidnapping thing. Very creepy fucking dudes. But anyway, they believe in circular time. That time is spirals out like a slinky. It's a completely different concept of a linear model. Although, if you talk to any physicist worth their salt, and I was just, I think I posted something about this the other day, but the most people's understanding of the Big Bang is wrong. Where they're like, oh, everything rewinds down to singularity, and there's nothing before the singularity because time starts when existence starts, or time is the measure of change of motion between existing things, and there is no motion or existence until the pop. And it's just like longitude lines on the globe. They just go to the North Pole. There's nothing north of the North Pole. You go beyond that and you're just on another coordinate again. That whole interpretation of the Big Bang is wrong. And no one in physics thinks like that, but that is how it's explained to the public over and over again. Why? I don't know why. Why in the Museum of Natural History in DC do they have that stupid picture of like an ape and all these in-between animals and a person, like you just morphed into a man from an ape, when apes and men should be side by side because they're both complete animals. But they have that artwork there and it's so misleading. You think it came from monkeys? Nope. And neither does science, and it never has. You think we came from nothing? Nope. And neither does science, and it never has. But it gets explained that way. But I was talking to Sabina Hosenfelter about this. She's a theoretical physicist. She's working on quantum gravity. She's got a great book called Lost in Math. Fucking the obsession with symmetry and beauty and how we think these answers, whatever. And
is that
it's the science communicators like the Neil Tyson deGrasse and these like and Bill Nye, these fucking celebrity scientists. At least Neil Tyson is a scientist, whereas Bill Nye is not even a scientist. But they do this crap and it's terrible. But what's funny is one of the better science communicators, at least to children, who was actually an English major, I'm sure he had at least college level science, was Mr. Wizard. And he'd do these little kitchen experiments and explain how stuff worked to children. But really, he's explaining it to adults too, without being patronizing. So you're watching him explain it to kids in his kitchen, but he made it simple enough for non-science people to understand. But other than him, most of the TV scientists are just fucking terrible. And people will argue about evolution or the Big Bang or whatever, and I'm like, what do you think that means? Because I don't think it means what you think it means. And I always hear the same shit. I'm like, where did you come up with this? Your friends? I don't even think that's in school. I guess I don't know. It pisses me off. I just don't talk about that as much because the political and warfare, terrorism, all that pisses me off more. I'm much more worried about that than I am whether or not someone understands science. But now I'm realizing, hey, with all this COVID stuff, with people not knowing the difference between a vaccine and mRNA therapy, maybe I should have spent a bit more time on science. Climate alarmists, the same thing, right? The war against nuclear energy, same thing. You say that word and they're scared. Think about Chernobyl and Fukushima. And I've tried, I've trying to explain thorium, molten salt reactors and stuff, but it's like, you can't, you need a public that's been in minimal education in science, at least up to like 4th grade. Well, for thorium, you need at least a high school diploma. And it just isn't there. I mean, I'm explaining people why 5G, which is it's less than it's microwaves and infrared, it's between microwaves and infrared. It's not the kind of radiation like you're thinking, like X-rays or UV or something. They don't even know the light spectrum, like visible light, yellow, blue, that stuff you see all the time, is more harmful to you than any microwave or any infrared or any radio wave. Any number of radio waves is more harmful to turn a light bulb on, which is not harmful, by the way, unless you stare at it. then it won't even penetrate your skin. But 5G, oh my God, it's going to change your DNA and all this bullshit. Like, no, it's not. And that is fourth grade science. That is literally light spectrum science. You learn about batteries and light when you're 9 years old. And now they don't even learn that at 19 years old, 29 years old, doesn't matter. And I just feel like, what the fuck do they do in public school nowadays? Talk about race, of course. Picking scabs. I don't expect people to understand the Big Bang, but I expect them to know that they don't know the Big Bang. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's lots of stuff. I don't get pilot wave theory, and certain I don't. There's certain things I'm like, I don't get this. But I know that I don't get it, and I don't try to argue about it. I'm like, yeah, Sewell, I don't feel like doing that math. I'm just gonna trust you, whatever. But you know, I don't want to deal with that stuff. I'm not interested enough in quantum mechanics to do what I need to do to actually understand it. I don't know if anybody understands that, I swear. Or quantum field theory is what it's called now. But I don't even like the mechanistic view of causality. I'm more of the constructionist point of view. If anybody nerds in here know what that is, but
You're saying the universe was constructed by Tony.
Well, the construction is sort of an autopilot of cans and cannots, of what states of matter and stuff can do and can't do. There's lots of way more things it can't do than can, right? It will do because it can only do things that it can do. That sounds reductivist, but it's not. But it lets you, give you an example, like, even if an apple falls off a tree or something, well, is it going to suddenly turn into a bar of gold? No, it's to go against conservation of matter. Is it going to suddenly stop in midair and hover there? No, that goes against the law of conservation of energy. There's things that it can't do. And don't say, well, what if the wind was... That's the wind. They were doing it still. It's not the apple, whatever. There are certain paths that... There's certain possibilities for they're not really choices. Kind of like you can do anything and all these doors start closing and it narrows it down all into an action, and then that action is what happens. Where it gets interesting is in brains, because this gets into deterministic versus free will, and it depends on how you define free will. I don't feel like opening that whole can of worms right now, ad lib, while I'm walking outside, but suffice to say, there's different schools of thought kind of blending philosophy and science together on the reality of reality. But I don't like these kind of discussions that I'd have with some other nerd. It's like a privilege to even find someone who knows what the fuck I'm saying. And I'm not high level at all. I'm not. But high enough that 99% of people just stare at you. Derp. We suck at teaching science. They politicize the hell out of it. And we're at the point where they can't even tell this is a boy, this is a girl. You know what I'm saying? Where airplanes become holograms and stuff. Holy shit.
Yeah, but I want to make the point that you saying you should have done more science. Most people only know the slogans. So they know things like 97% of climate scientists agree that global warming is happening.
Oh yeah, that's a bullshit statistic too. Like,
yeah,
the one thing I did go after was global warming. Like, I did hit that in the nuts with science. But I found out, and that did work for a good portion, but a lot of people don't understand science. They trust it. I mean, there's a big difference between trying to figure out who to trust and not needing to figure out who to trust because you actually know it, but you know what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knowledge is way
Instinct.
better than just trusting somebody. And
Yeah, but
sometimes you don't have
not
a choice. Sometimes
you
shit's
cannot.
just more than you can ever know, and you just gotta trust. I trust engineers every day. Every time my television comes on or the elevator works, whatever, I know it's physical and I know somebody figured it out and it wasn't me, and I don't know how it works, but it does. I don't know how this fucking cell phone works that I'm talking to everybody on. And I know it's sends signals and I'm like, yeah, but how? Like how inside the phone with a little silicone and plastic and is this, how the fuck does it convert my voice into electric signals and then radio waves and go all over, I can describe it, but I still don't get it. I know it's not magic though. I know it is physical, but that's the point where I'm like, pump the brakes. I just got to trust that some other smart people actually understand this shit because I don't. I could just say what most of us can say, right? I could read it out of a book. It does this. Yeah, but how? What does that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know that the way I know how engine works. I kind of do know how the elevator works actually, but that was a bad example. But like the phone, it's just past my fucking skill set. Yeah, this shit's amazing.
Yes.
It's fascinating. The stuff that some other smart people have built, which was not Bill Gates, by the way. He is not a computer or scientist guy. He's just a fucking hack con
He's a
artist
manager. He's
who
a
had
money
wealthy
manager.
parents. Yeah, he's wealthy parents. He bought things. He stole tech from IBM. He Israeled it from them. He got blackmailed by Epstein. Oh my God, can you imagine if Glenn Maxwell throws Bill Gates under the bus? That'd almost be an even trade.
I think they should expropriate his company and give it to the Linux Foundation.
I mean, it's not just Bill Gates. It's Peter, what's his fucking name? Mervold, Nathan Mervold, and Peter something. He had a very angry, just like Davis or something like that. Who was he? The Microsoft Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation senior officer, whatever. I'm starting to forget this stuff, but it's a whole basket of top level engineers and administrators at Microsoft that were all seeing Epstein, not just Bill. It's a dirty company. And they own 20 something percent of MSNBC. The MS and MSNBC is Microsoft. Have you all been following Virginia? They already got rid of a couple taxes. Fuck Northam. Just getting rid of Northam was good enough. But Youngkin seems to be good on getting rid of mandates, getting rid of mask and vaccine mandates, got rid of the grocery tax, got rid of the new gas tax. Focus is going to be on education, get rid of CRT. I think some schools will just rebrand it and try and teach it anyway. But it's going to be up to the parents to go after them. And Biden's little minion that labeled them domestic terrorists got fucking grilled by Ted Cruz and Johnson. Just, did anyone watch that? Does anybody watch C-SPAN? Did you see it, Varg?
Who got grilled by Ted Cruz?
Biden's what is his name? One of his minion that labeled parents domestic terrorists in a memo that was based on a his letter recommendation. Fucking, the name will come to me. But Ted Cruz put him up on the stand. He just ate him alive.
I did not see that.
As Fauci and Rand Paul are button heads again.
Yeah,
Fucking
I'm
epic.
I'm surprised that that Fauci has to return to Congress that often.
They need to drag him out there.
Is it scheduled, or is it just because there are pressing issues? Because after his own NIH said it was gain of function research, I don't understand. Like he should be in jail.
Well, he was there the other day. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Rand Paul gutted him again, like recently. Trying to find.
Oh, by the way,
Oh
that
my
that
God! Do you see where
that
everybody's throwing trash over the fence at Bloomberg's property?
oh yeah, no, wasn't it at De Blasio's? Yes, I saw that.
What did I say? Oh,
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg. Yeah, I meant De Blasio. I get that ding mixed up. Yeah, New
But
York. And
that
they're all
that
just Yankees in my head.
yeah that
There
that
was
Interchangeable.
That Microsoft person, was that Walker?
No, but that's another one, and he
Oh,
helped
okay.
introduce Bill to Epstein. No, it was like Peter Davies or Davis or something simple. It was like a Walker type name, but it was not Walker. It was something like that. He got caught with child porn at the foundation. The name is escaping me. I'd look it up, but it'll end the stream if I move away from the thing on my phone. So
Was it Rick Allen Jones?
Rick Jones got busted with porn, and he was also at the Melinda Gates Foundation. That was a while ago. This other guy was like since Epstein was arrested. But that's the Rick Jones case. That's interesting because it was sort of a non-story. And why? That is a guy with what was over 400 and something counts, maybe 4,000, I don't know, of child pornography on a work computer at the foundation. And I'm just thinking, what does this fucking guy do?
Maybe that's his job, collecting stuff like that.
Bam! Baby's asleep, so I am going to be doing some husband duties. But I will get the Shekelchats. Miles away, Andy, talking about Andy ads, I assume, interviewed IP Hunter suggests that the MSM racism spin, fake news, false flags published internationally could justify injecting UN forces on U.S. ground in the future. Reasonable? No. The UN is not going to be allowed on U.S. soil. What they'll do is they'll use the paramilitary groups from Latin America, whatever, Blackwater style, if they're going to do that, Alex Jones style. Lone Star Texan for 5 says, LBJ is who I point the finger at for the downfall of this state and this country, the most despicable man in our history as a nation or a woman. Was it Golda Meir? They certainly do look alike. Fuck that guy and fuck Joe Biden. Texit Dagnalon. I agree, except I would put Lincoln as worse than LBJ, and then he's the most Zionist president we've ever had. P1 Dizzy with 11370 1370 says, thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Varg, aka Skater Boy from Norway, aka ANC Discord administrator, hashtag base travel, hashtag we are Ryan Dawson. Sweet. And that was in the red zone, so P1 Dizzy is in the lead. I think Willie Wallace is number 2. followed by Michael Rosen, I think. Yeah, no, Michael Rosen's number 2, and then Willie Wallace. Y'all, I will put the portion that you did not hear up on Anchor. It'll be free. And we shall... Am I on the right thing? Yeah. My wife is walking around in boots, underwear, and a bra, so bye.